Good, happy Tuesday evening, June 7, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, families of shooting victims testify on Capitol Hill. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
The emotional pleas to stop the tide of gun violence were also heard on Capitol Hill today. The families of victims of the hate-fueled Buffalo mass shooting added their voices to the call for reform. CBS's Nicole Killian spoke with them.
My mother's life mattered. And your actions here today will tell us how much it matters to you.
Filled with heart-wrenching grief, Garnell Whitfield Jr. implored a Senate panel to eradicate the cancer of white supremacy after his 86-year-old mother was gunned down in a racially motivated shooting, along with 9 others at a Buffalo grocery store last month.
What specifically do you want Congress to do?
Oh, I want them to do their job. Their job is to protect us. Their job is to pass legislation.
His plea echoed by several other families who lost loved ones in the Buffalo attack, like Pamela Pritchett, whose mother was also killed.
I want them to imagine getting a phone call that from the funeral director that you need to bring a hat to the funeral home because of the damage that was done by this man with the gun.
As pressure builds on Congress to act, lead Democratic negotiator Chris Murphy spent part of the day at the White House meeting with President Biden.
Every day we get closer to an agreement.
Those involved in bipartisan talks appear to be coalescing around a narrow package that could include enhanced background checks and incentives for states with red flag laws. But proposals like raising the purchasing age for semi-automatic weapons may be off the table.
We're hoping to actually get an outcome that'll make a difference in the areas of mental health, school safety.
But neither party has committed to a vote yet.
When do you expect to put a bipartisan bill on the floor?
Senator Murphy expects he can come to an agreement with Senator Cornyn by the end of the week, and I expect to give him that time.
For Garnell Whitfield, time is of the essence.
We hope they'll go back and search their hearts and do the right thing.
It's expected to be another emotional day as some of the survivors of the Uvalde school shooting are expected to testify in a hearing tomorrow. The House is also expected to vote on a sweeping gun reform package, though it stands little chance here in the Senate. Nora?
Nicole Killian, thank you very much.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Hospitals studying long-term impacts of COVID in kids. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
Getting into college is about more than an acceptance letter. It's a chance to make your...
And tonight we have some in-depth reporting on long COVID. Health officials estimate about 23 million Americans are suffering from lingering symptoms months after their initial infection. CBS's Jerika Duncan looks at the impact on America's children.
This is a test.
3 minutes left.
Can 12-year-old Adriana Vaughn walk for 6 minutes without losing her breath? She can't.
Don't lean against the wall. Give you a break.
She was diagnosed with COVID in October of 2021. 8 months later, she has a string of new medical issues: fatigue, headaches, stomach problems, and more.
Talk about the things you did before COVID-19.
I do really love the water and swimming. I tried to do it like a few days ago. It was really a lot for me.
So you can't even swim anymore?
No.
At first, doctors in her Virginia hometown weren't sure what to make of her symptoms.
They didn't know what long haul COVID was, and they kept saying it was anxiety. But my mom knew I didn't have anxiety.
She's one of roughly 70 kids being treated in the long COVID clinic at Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. Dr. Alexandra Yantz runs the program.
In terms of the symptoms, are they similar to what we see with adults?
So for the most part, very similar in that fatigue is the number one complaint. Kids tend to have less respiratory complaints and more gastrointestinal symptoms.
More than 13 million children have tested positive for COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Studies have found a wide range in the number who suffer with COVID. Dr. Yantz estimates it could be as high as 10%. Children's National Hospital is now running a 3-year study to learn more about the long-term effects.
I was just laying in bed, all day.
After getting COVID in December of 2020, Erin Peace lost 15 pounds and all of her energy. The 16-year-old stopped singing and even had to go to virtual homeschooling. But she's slowly getting better.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you right now?
I'd say about a 6. I've definitely improved a lot.
Even resuming singing lessons this week. It's what Adriana is counting on too.
I have hope every day.
You have hope every day?
Yes.
Hope and a family that's with her every step of the way. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, Washington.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. FDA panel votes to recommend Novavax COVID shot. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
Tonight, there may soon be a fourth COVID vaccine option. A panel of FDA advisors gave the go-ahead today to a more conventional protein COVID vaccine that can be stored at room temperature for 12 hours. It's made by the Maryland-based company Novavax. We actually visited their facility last year. The shot is already used in Canada and dozens of other countries, and now it could soon be authorized by the FDA.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Soaring gas prices hit a new record. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
Where could 5 Hour Energy take you? Find out by voting for 5 Hour Energy's next flavor. You could win.
Well, tonight it seems there's no hitting the brakes on those soaring gas prices. The national average jumped another nickel today to $4.91 a gallon. And $5 gas is becoming the norm in a growing number of states. Here's CBS's Carter Evans.
It's not just sticker shock anymore. Painful pump prices aren't going away anytime soon.
Too damn high. It's ridiculous.
The national average is just pennies away from $5 a gallon. And in these 13 states, prices are soaring even higher. In Illinois, up 88 cents in just the last month.
I just wish they'd come back down. It's going to affect the summer.
At $6.37 a gallon in California, a family of 4 here is spending $600 a month or more on gas, according to oil analyst Tom Closa.
We've had an ascent that's like the ascent of Mount Everest. July is anything goes.
That's because millions of Americans are back on the move, not willing to put off that summer vacation any longer.
How high is it going to have to get before people actually really pull back on driving?
Well, that's an experiment in progress right now.
And some are reaching a tipping point.
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and everyone needs to brace for that.
If I see it hit $6, that's it.
That could easily happen. Hurricane season has just begun, and half the nation's oil refining capacity is along the Gulf Coast.
If a hurricane hit and knocked 10% of our refining capacity offline, what would that do?
I think a hurricane really alters the calculus. Then you get into the $6 to $7 a gallon range.
Do you see gas prices getting back into the $3 a gallon range anytime soon?
Not this year. Not this year.
To get the best gas mileage, we've all heard about adjusting your tire pressure and driving slower, but the biggest way to save money immediately at the pump is to stop buying premium gas. If it doesn't say on your gas cap that it's required, then there is no benefit for your car and you do not need it. Nora?
Carter Evans with the tips tonight. Thank you, Carter.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast. right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.